So it's been a few days since the part 2 fake collab did start, and today I'm here with my first impressions on Rin. So I've gotten to use her enough as a sub DPS primarily, but I've also used her as a main DPS, mostly on other accounts and stuff, since mine doesn't have E1, so I don't really have the potential to make it not feel like crap. But yeah, today we're going to be going over the build up, what I thought during the beta stuff, how I feel about Rin as a whole, as a Fate fan, you know, the general first impression stuff. Stuck grinding in Honkai Starro? Need Stellar Jades fast? We've got you covered. Head over to U7 Buy, your ultimate gaming hub for safe, fast, and cheap in-game top-ups. Whether it's Starro or your other favorite games, U7 delivers instantly and players love it. Check out their Trustpilot reviews, they're actually top ranked. On the Honkai Starro top-up page, you can recharge your account in seconds. When you head over to the page, all you need to do is pick the pack you do want, enter your UID and server, and buy now. If you want codes and coupons to apply, be sure to create an account for proper savings. USD is a recommended usage currency for best saving. Once everything is set, you can see the savings you're about to get. Want even extra savings? Be sure to use code PRESR at checkout for 5% off. Perfect for last minute pulls or surprising a friend. Click on the link in the description, recharge fast, save more, and keep blazing those trails. Oh boy, the hype leading up to these characters. You can quite literally go back to when they were revealed. You can see I uploaded a video as fast as I usually do, and I was geeking out. I was losing my mind. If you guys don't know, and you guys probably know because of my name and my icon or my profile picture, I am a big Fate fan. I'm more of an FGO fan more than like your stuff that you would know, like Unlimited Blade Works. I'm way more into FGO, but nonetheless, I'm a Fate fan. So Fate collab already existing was cool. They started off with characters I don't really care about. Like I'm not a big Artoria fan at all, and I don't care about Emiya too much. Funny enough, in general, I'm not really a big Stay Night or Unlimited Blade Work fan. But hey, when I did watch Gilgamesh, my favorite character, and Rin was one of my other favorite characters. Lo and behold, part 2 happens, they get announced. You can imagine how hyped I was. Seeing just from the art that they had some stuff pulled from other series, like the whole pose Gilgamesh is doing is from Fate Zero. He's also pulled outfit designs from a bunch of different series. Rin specifically, she had Ishtar's earrings, and I was like, what that mean? So I was really wondering if they're gonna incorporate some stuff to it. I was thinking probably not, but colored me impressed when the actual stuff came out. We got to see like what the animations look like and stuff. Seeing her ultimate, I was so hyped because I mentioned I'm a Rin fan, but as I also mentioned, I'm a big FGO fan. Who do I also really love? Ishtar. When I played FGO, I had an MP5 space Ishtar. Not the original one, because she just never ran at good times when I played. But yeah, I had an MP5 space Ishtar, and I love Ishtar. I have an actual 1/7 scale figure of Ishtar. That's like one of the very few figures I have. Seeing that she had the ultimate, I was so stoked, dude. It was so cool. And then all her animations are just really pretty. The joint attack is really clean. The enhanced skill is really cool. And then the ultimate is like one of my favorite animations in the game, probably. But yeah, her kit-wise, we were able to see that she was being able to be played as a sub DPS with Archer, with how she functioned, or her own main DPS. But the main DPS needed a lot more investment. For me personally, I had said investment. Like I have E2 Spark already. I had E1 Ceredra, had light cones and stuff, so on and so forth, so it wasn't going to be the most insane thing for me. But the playstyle, this is the biggest part. If you don't know, the playstyle for the main DPS is pretty much just building a bunch of gem energy and then working around the shadow gem from E1 and stuff, but pretty much just requires you to basic a bunch of times. Build up a bunch of stacks after basicing as much as you possibly can until like the last literal turn of like said cycle, and then you would let it rip with like a cerebral clone skill where it would just do a big nuke and then a big nuke again, and then you'd repeat. As strong and how stupid it looks and just how funny it looks when it does happen, because big numbers are big numbers, the build up is just, it's so boring. You just skill and you just basic build up a bunch, and then you finally would let it rip at the very end. I don't know. I didn't really find that intriguing. You also don't really see her ultimate too much, which is like, I love that ultimate, as I mentioned. Ultimate's also just not necessarily that great. So I was pretty sad about that, but it was a lot different on the Archer performance. Like her being able to help defeat some mobs on the side was really helpful. The actual thing the joint attack did with its okay damage and also the 4 skill points. The extra help she was able to give Archer for that, and also increase Archer's attack by 150% with the 50% quantum rest pen by the end of the beta. All that was really good. And then Rin also practically was unchanged for most of the beta. She got like a slight nerf to the enhanced skill, which got reverted anyways. So yeah, there was that. So using her as a main DPS from E0 to E1 and E2 primarily. E0, it's just, it's not great. E1, that's like the big dupe you do want. It does definitely cook starting from there, but you still do want the investment Like, Rin is definitely like a high investment, high reward character. Well, high investment, I should say, probably more on the medium side. Like, you really want to stack that defense shred and defense ignore on her more than others. As I mentioned in the past in some other videos where it's like, yeah, this will always be a damage increase, which it is. But on Rin, it's really needed to really see those numbers. But yeah, in general, the E1 just basically being required to run her as a main DPS. And then E2 is also just a really nice stepping point because it makes the skill 130% of the original damage. That is such a big damage increase. And then also increases the own skill damage as well. Her Lycon's also just really solid for both roles. Makes it easier to build with crit rate, gives it Radiant Crown, lets everyone ignore 20% defense, increases Rin's own skill damage by 72%, so it's just very nice. But yeah, I mainly had to use her by other means instead of my account because mine was just Ezra S1 and mine also isn't properly built. The one you're seeing in the background footage is quite literally just level 80. I'm missing like A6. I have no traces. I'm in such a trench for traces. I had so many characters to get up and a bunch that I didn't plan on getting. Like with like my Himiko Noble pose, I didn't plan on getting her originally. I forgot to farm Stagnant Shadow for Gilgamesh, so I had to panic and do that on live. Then I had Rin, and then I also was feeling it that day and pulled Sparksy as well. So I just had so many stamina problems. So I'm trying to get her, which now I do have her level 80. And then I gotta get Sparksy up to 80, and then I can start farming traces. It's a mess, but all my opinions here are coming from actual leveled proper builds and stuff. But yeah, for the main DPS stuff at E0 S1, not really that great. E1 S1, very, very strong. And then E2 S1, insanely strong. I just personally find the playstyle really boring. So I am most likely not going to continue doing that once mine's built. I'm probably not going to use her too much because as I don't really use Archer, it's not really a team comp for me, but the performance is very good. Like the amount of times Archer can comfortably shoot, you just have the best team with Sparkle plus Rin, and then Archer and Lasso sustain or sustainless. The skill point economy is just insane. It feels like you're just always playing at nearly max skill points. You do got to manage it a bit at times, but that's it. The skill points from the overcap Rin can provide as well, and then also the joint attack, all the skill point stuff is just works so nice. She really does bring Archer back up. He didn't really go down. Like, he was still really good before her, but now he's like already back up to being one of the best DPSs in the game because he just has so much going for him at not much investment needed, because Rin E0 S1 is like the pretty much stopping point for the Archer team. Next thing would be E2 if you really want to get it, but you can really just stop at E0 S1 for him. It's really the actual main DPS that would need at least E1 borderline required, and then E2 is even a better jump for main DPS. But yeah, in both roles, as long as the investment is hit, it's great. For main DPS specifically, if the E1 investment is not hit, and or you're missing some like defense ignore and you're missing some support investment, then the performance of it is not that great. But I have to say, I am satisfied of her performance in general. At E0 S1, it's mainly like a sub DPS thing. At really all investments for sub DPS, she is performing fine, and I think she will be able to perform fine for a while. Main DPS wise, at E0 S1, it's of course not going to be great because you really need that E1, and then E1 wise performs really good. At E2 performs very, very good. But yeah, you still also would need the extra investment in supports and stuff to really see it shine. But unfortunately, I once again don't use the Archer team, so I'm not gonna have much use for her, and I don't like her main DPS playstyle, so I'm going to, unfortunately, as much as I love this character, leave her at E0 S1. She's going to be a collection unit for me, but who knows, maybe later on I'll fold just because I really love Ishtar, so we'll see. Anyway, that is my first impressions of Rin. I do hope you found this video enjoyable to watch. If you did, drop a like, be greatly appreciated. If you're new to the channel or haven't done so already, be sure to subscribe and turn on the bell for future videos like this, along with all the types of stock content. Comment down below what you think of Rin, if you did pull for her as well, main DPS or sub DPS, either or, what investments, so on and so forth. And I'll see you next time. Peace out.